Hello, this is Greg Allison, Green Greg's Garden and Worm Farm, coming to you on the 6th of February 2021. $15 an hour minimum wage. What does that mean? What does that mean for the country, for you, for farmers in general? It means a lot of things. I know some of you guys say, well, you can't make a living at minimum wage and support a family. Well, that's true. It may be that if you're working for minimum wage, you need to find another job, another profession, learn a skill, a trade, do your own side business, grow worms, grow a garden, microgreens in your living room. There's many things you can do to supplement your income. You might find that those things will give you a far better income than you might have ever imagined, if you manage them right. But you got to stick to it. You got to have the fortitude to work and stick with what you're doing and deliver to your customer and keep your customers happy when you're in business for yourself. Now, the other thing is this. A lot of farmers are hire people to work for them. And, a lot of farms and other operations and small businesses work on a small, very small margin. So that's going to mean two things. It's going to mean that a lot of these guys are going to have to dramatically increase their prices. And it also means that a lot of them just won't be able to operate. You're going to see a lot of small businesses go out of business. Here we are with a bug going around, the shutdown, and all kind of things that have been stressing businesses out. There have been towns that have been boarded up because of riots and such and so forth, or perception of riots, whether it be, however you want to look at those, real or perceived. There's a lot of businesses boarded up. There's a number that have been damaged. But just the shutdowns have done enormous damage to small business in America. Now, I've said before that I think that's the real agenda of the powers that be, to shut down small business, because they don't want any middlemen in the system anymore. They want a feudal system where it's them at the top and everybody else is serfs below, and you don't have any way to climb to the top anymore. That them it's there, and we've got a permanent nobility class. And that goes against everything we believe in our free society. So I think we need to resist that in every way we can. By doing so, we need to support our brethren who are businesses and tradesmen who are independent. Vote with your dollar and vote for them. I tell you that a lot. Now, let's go back to it. Restaurants, especially the fast food. Most of your minimum wage people are working in fast food. The fast food restaurants have already said they're going to roboticize if it goes to $15 an hour. That's the threshold. They say they've got the technology to just about completely roboticize fast food operations. I guess you'll go up instead of a window that has a person taking your order, you're going to tell it the order, just like those little machines at Walmart, when you pay for stuff. You'll tell it what your order is and hope that the darn thing understands you, and it will take your cash from you, and then it'll have everything made up robotically, and it'll hand it out to you. That's going to be a massive loss of jobs for school kids, college kids, and that's going to hurt people trying to send their kids to school when the supplemental income those kids are making are helping them out, and those kids aren't going to be buying cars and all the nice little trinkets that those kids buy. And the fact that they're not buying so much is going to hurt the market even more. There's going to be cascading effects, because a lot of businesses aren't going to be able to afford to operate. Their demand is going down, the cost is going up, they're being squeezed out of business. So it's going to hurt a lot of small businesses dramatically. It's going to hurt a lot of people at the wage grade level, because the number of jobs I'm expecting will be fewer than they are today. I expect it to be fewer. I expect roboticization in the fast food industry and a lot of other industries will roboticize. Farms are kind of hard-pressed to roboticize, because, it's just hard to find a robot that's going to know what to do out here where everything's different everywhere you go. And things change time and time as you grow. Finding a robot to come out here and know how to tell the difference between big garlic and little garlic, or how these beds run, or how you're changing things out, or how to find all the turmeric that's in the ground. One, that would be a very expensive thing to do, put a robot into an operation like this. There are concepts for little bitty robots that roll around on bigger farms and do some things. Yeah, they got that. And maybe those will be the only farms that make it. I don't think that's true. I just think a lot of farmers will scale back their operations for what they can accomplish themselves. Or they'll use wolfers. Wolfers are maybe a growing thing, because if you want to farm and grow yourself, then you can operate and do a lot of stuff on your own. but you won't be having a day job like I do if you do it. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge to small farms. You take my worm farm. I have not increased my prices in 7 years now. Since 2014 was the last time I increased prices. Postage went up a lot, over $1 a box. It seemed like every dadgum year postage just went whoo. The prices went up for postage, and the service went to I mean, just almost unworkable. It went to the you-know-whatter. You know, it's like they were killing everything, busting boxes. I mean, they got terrible. And it's not the people at the post office, it's usually the sorting facilities where they're hiring all the kids that are working, you know, for lower wages. And they're just not motivated to deliver a quality product. And they're overwhelmed too, because so much more stuff is going through the mail today because everybody's buying through Amazon instead of buying from their local stores. And the local stores are getting shut down. Amazon's making a killing. And local small businesses are being killed. And guys who are using the mail to ship live things, well, live things are getting killed too. So my approach is going to be, one, I'm going to ship smaller shipments. Hopefully my worm farm in Arizona will help me be able to make more of them local. But I was already facing the fact that I'm going to have to raise prices quite a bit. Now you double my labor cost, and what do? I mean, am I supposed to raise my prices 10 times to cover everything? You know, how's the customer going to react to that? You know, I'm looking at stiff price increases without increased labor cost. Yeah, I'm going to cut back my labor. You know, I'll have to. I got to cut back labor. So there will be less people supporting me here. I got no choice. That or get some woofers in here. I want to try to get some people in here on a co-op, on a sharecrop basis, so they get half the crop. That ought to be a good workable solution. But what you're going to find is that the cost of most goods you get, the material costs are usually cheap. It's nothing. The main cost is labor. But even when you buy, and taxes, when you buy stuff, you pay taxes. And there's labor in the cost of the things you buy to run your business and your farm. Those costs are going to go up. And the cost of, you know, every step from the time you mine something or grow something, process it, ship it, stack it, rack it, store it, sell it, move it. There's several steps in the production of anything that involve both labor and taxes. Those prices add up. So when you buy something, there's several different successions in that product being produced that had labor and had taxes. And usually profits of most businesses are only like 5 or 7%. Profits are usually narrow. I mean, that might add up too. Everybody along the steps got to have their little piece of it to stay in operation. That's why you do this stuff. But labor is a huge part of the cost of anything. So you can expect the prices of everything to go up, including food. And food prices will go up in this area for 2 reasons. I'm going to do a special video probably later today or tomorrow on food prices. And so just from and there are several things that's going to be driving up, but from the standpoint of the labor, it's going to be driving food prices up from 2 different directions. One, source cost, all the embedded cost, the cost of producing and delivering the food. And 2, supply is going to go down. The supply is going to go down because a lot of farmers are going to say, I ain't doing it anymore, I'm going to quit. Or they're going to cut back. A lot of farmers will quit or cut back, especially the smaller guys who are bringing you fresh vegetables, the good organic stuff. They're just going to say the heck with it. A lot of them will. I'll say you can still do it, you can still make it, but you may not be doing it while you do a day job, or scale back what you do and how you do it. I know some guys like Curtis Stone paid people in food. That's how he maintained the wages he used to pay people. But most of the folks that work for me are on food stamps, so they're not going to take payment in food because I already got food now. I don't. Besides, I'm not actually growing food right now. I got a prepper garden, which I tell you that, you know, you save your food growing for later. Have all your beds ready and your seeds ready. Then when it hits the fan after the first wave of starvation rolls through, then you grow your food. That's how you keep them ready in your garden. So have stored food. Go to prepwithgreg.com and get those buckets that I've been telling you about. I got 20% off. And then click the logo to the other stuff. But yeah, to be growing food, you do need seeds, and right now is the time to get started. So go to True Leaf Market for that. Links below. And especially, also one other thing is, if you've not subscribed to my channel, subscribe, bang the notification bell, and click all so you can see all these videos I'll be bringing you about food prices, why you need to grow your own. If nothing else with your garden, you do need to grow your own food. I mean, you can still do a market garden, but if you're relying on wage grade labor, you're either going to have to increase your cost quite a bit or cut back on that. There's just no way around it. It's one or the other. There is no choice if the labor is going up that much. So I got one final thing to say about $15 an hour minimum wage. This is a blanket they're throwing across the entire nation. But what's good in California may not be good in Alabama. It costs like 4 times more to live in California than it does in Alabama. It costs 4 times more to live in many areas, lots more to live. The cost of living is much higher up and down the West Coast in the big cities and up at the East Coast. Washington, D.C. is astronomical cost. New York City is astronomical cost. So their needs and requirements shouldn't drive what's needed here. And so if they left it to the states, and instead of some big federal wet blanket thrown over the entire country and economy, that means the states where the cost of living is lower are free to find their own level and solutions so that they can still operate and bring you good prices on product. This whole idea that you got to have one blanket across everything is going to mess stuff up. And for those of you that are tradesmen who went to school and college and or whatever you've done and worked your tuchus off to get ahead, you're going to find you got less money. Oh boy, somebody's calling me. I forgot my phone was on. Anyway, sorry about that, guys. That's hard for me to... You can't just touch a button, you have to swipe it. It's hard to do when your hands are full. I'm sorry, guys, about that. People... Anyway, that was probably a crank call anyway. So there you are. $15 minimum wage is going to increase prices, decrease jobs, and it's going to cause a lot of other problems. It's going to decrease supply. Increase prices, decrease supply, and decrease jobs. That's what I think. It's a wet blanket. It's not a good idea. There's a lot of ideas I think that aren't good ideas. But like I said, no, you can't make a living off minimum wage to support a family. But if you're a kid living at home, you can make money. If you've got a side business, you can get by on it. I do have a couple of couples that work with me here. They also do they have other little side hustles, and some of them are drawing food stamps and other things like that. That's not something I care anything about, but it is what it is. You know, they ought to go out and get a trade, learn how to do business. And some of these people are people that have, you know, I don't know, there's just other things. But then again, I got a guy who worked for me for a long time. He passed away recently. He loved working here. He actually, his wife worked and I guess brought him most of the money in their house. He actually had a cousin who repeatedly tried to get him to work in the factory for double what I was paying him. And he wasn't interested because he just loved working outdoors. He loved it here until his health got him. So he was repeatedly told him, hey, you can come in and just drive a forklift. All you got to do is sit on this forklift and drive it. Easy work, double the money. And he didn't want it. He was happy to work here. There are some satisfaction, some things that pay besides money, and some of it's just that satisfaction of being outdoors. There's a lot of advantages to growing a garden. But, you know, when somebody forces on me a one-size-fits-all solution, it's going to cause problems. It's going to cause a big adjustment period. Like I said, those of you that have winning the trades, what you're going to find is now the guys who didn't do anything are getting almost as much money as you after all the work you invested in your school. So that's going to put you in a bind for a while. But I know a lot of you are going to be increasing your prices too after that, because also your costs are going up. Everybody's cost is going to go up. You double minimum wage and there's going to be inflation. There's going to be inflation from the fact that the source cost and materials is higher, and supply material of things, goods, will probably be lower. Less jobs will be out there. So just think about all that. Yeah, it's going to have a lot of impacts. How big will these impacts be? How many less jobs? What percentage? I don't know. I don't know. I'll cut back some. I know that. So a lot of other people. So just bear in mind, yeah, I'm going to cut back. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I will increase prices too. So I already had a plan to increase my prices a lot. I'm going to have to, I'll have to go back and add to that. Add to that. It's going to be ridiculous. But it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. Anyway, I wish everyone the best. And hang in there. If you're out there trying to support your family on minimum wage, get a side business. Learn some skills. Do something. You know, that's a rough way to hoe. It's good for temporary things. It's good if you're in school. It's good if you're trying to learn a trade. You know, like if you want to come out to farm and learn how to do things yourself. But, you know, the small business people are under a lot of stress these days. A lot of stress. A lot of businesses are shut down. We've lost over 72,000 businesses last year alone because of these stresses in the United States. It may get worse this year. Anyway, just tell me, Greg, I'm going to stay centered and keep going. That was such my last video. Thank you for watching. Everyone have a great day. Bye.